What is going on, Panthers Nation? I hope y'all are doing well on this Saturday afternoon. We have March Madness humming and bumming right along. I have not had a chance to check the scores for today. Let me go back and look. What do we have? I know it gets slower today, at least in the afternoon. We have one game right now. We have Arizona up over Dayton. 32 seconds left to go in that game. Looks like Dayton will lock that up. Good for them. Hey, folks, we have the Two Growls, One Roar March Madness bracket underway. Fun times. Thank you to those that joined in. I think we had like 27 participants. Two folks didn't even fill anything out. So maybe that's good. Maybe that's bad. You helped us out. We have 27 participants in the Two Growls, One Roar bracket. First time doing this. It was last minute. Thought I'd have have a little fun doing this. Last night, went to bed. Some upsets happened, and I'm sitting right there, tied for first place. A lot of ball left to go. But anyways, the winner of this tournament, as long as they're not a family member, which is my wife or Nolan, will win a Two Growls, One Roar shirt or a hoodie. It'll be their choice. Same thing if I were to win, whoever was like runner up, I'll let you pick that. But today we are here to talk about mock draft and mock draft season. Right before this, I recorded one mock draft and 2 rounds of another mock draft until my computer I guess it wasn't my computer, the website just didn't work. Went out on me right in the middle of a mock, right in the middle of recording, which it is what it is. You roll with it, right? Roll with the punches when you're doing these things. Also did a post free agency breakdown, telling you the positions of need. In my mind, I think center, still say wide receiver, a wide receiver, tight end. Those are my 3 needs on offense. Hard to make a case for anyone else on the offensive line, considering what happened in free agency. Have edge, outside linebacker on the defensive side of the ball, inside linebacker, and cornerback. I think, again, we brought in some safeties. Maybe you can make a case for the defensive line in general, outside of what we have with edge. But for me, I was like, those are my top 6 needs. We have 7 draft picks. We have another one you can maybe throw in there. I won't call it a need, but we know the Panthers are also talking to running backs for some of their top 30 visits, which lets me know, hey, at least they're exploring the idea of what it would take or what it will look like if they decide, hey, yeah, maybe best player available at this time is a running back. One thing I'll highlight, and I talked about it, which will be in the video that drops, has to do with the roster. So we have 66 players under contract today, according to Over the Cap. You throw in the 7 draft picks, that puts us at 73, trying to do math on, real time, not good for me. 73 total picks. And then we'll have our undrafted guys, a bulk of those that will come through. There's some people, and I talked about this, but some people are like, is free agency over? I mean, the bulk of it's done, which is something I talked about. That first week and a half, you're going to have all the big names shorted up, getting signed. We're going to have these stragglers, and the stragglers could be today, could be 2 weeks, could be 3 weeks, could be June, July, August. So I know Clowney's a big name that people are still like, are we going to bring him? Michael Gallup was another one that was talked about. I think we'll still see some small signings, but nothing like earth-shattering, because there's who are you going to sign? There's nobody left. There's veterans. That's where you really get into is are we going to pick up this veteran or not? But you're here, possibly, if you're tuned in, to do a mock draft, talk about a mock draft. One thing I will plug before I do that is I released my first episode of Beyond the Podcast last night. Actually, it was this morning. I recorded it yesterday. If you're curious about sports podcasting, making content, what my journeys looked like, that's why I started the series. Because if we're zoned in, Two Growls, One Roar is all Panthers content all day long. But I wanted to give folks another outlet for myself to talk about how I came about the show, what the growth has looked like, celebrating a little over a year into this now, but YouTube has been the catalyst that's really kind of taken off here. So over 500 subscribers just hit that mark, which is a big milestone in YouTube world. And again, I like to say, I know some folks it's probably dropping the bucket. You don't care. It's cool. Nearing 100,000 total plays, combined on YouTube and a lot of other good things with the podcast. But a year ago, I never would have imagined that I would say one streaming like this would have been a thing I would do or video content. Like I was like, I'm going to make a podcast and it's just going to be audio. Video is so crucial, so important. Being able to engage like this and talk to people, having them listen to you, it helps grow the show. But anyways, saying thank you. So I'll make more of those. I'm gonna like fine tune it, make it more of like a how to. If you're like, hey, how do I actually take this idea for a sports podcast and then turn it into something? And what does that look like? And everybody's journey is going to be different, but I at least want to share as much knowledge as I possibly can. We are here though, go through mock drafts. And if you are tuned into the show wherever you're watching, Facebook, YouTube, X, those are the three that I'm on right now. You can, well, I don't know if Facebook, I post stuff out there. I don't even, and people follow the stuff, but I don't know what people do on there. If you're on YouTube or X, you can join the show by commenting. I'll get the comments, I can post them up, but I would love for this to be interactive if you are out there. And there's no opinion that's a bad opinion. You can feel comfortable saying, oh man, I like this draft pick over this draft pick. We are going to go through maybe at least one mock draft together, possibly two. I really wanted to have like and I know I'm doing this sporadically, but a fan choice, like having y'all decide who should we pick? Who should we pick? But if nobody's participating, it's just going to be me talking, which is fine. And I'll go through another mock draft myself. But we'll go ahead and get started. Yeah, if you follow me, you know I'm not a fan of PFF. Thing about being and that's not a knock on them, but for me, I'm not going to pay a subscription fee to get some grade of a player when I personally know how long it takes to sit down and truly grade someone. And anyways, I'm just not a fan. So I'm not using them for my draft. I'm not spending more money where I don't need to. I have a budget for this show. Most of it is spent on things like this platform to stream. Anyways, there are a lot of free mock draft options available. PFF Draft Network has one. You can Google it, or Pro Football Network. Sorry, Pro Football Network, which I think is PFN. NFL Draft Buzz is what we are going to use today. I like NFL Draft Buzz. I found them last year when I started the show and was learning who the heck are we even, like I never did a mock. So I was like, where do I start? Stumbled on this resource. It's a really great resource. The thing I like about them is they one give you a bunch of information on the prospects. They also, and this is not paid, I'm not paid by them or anything like that. They also give you an aggregate score of the player. And what I mean by that is, and we'll try to look at one, they'll take the rankings from PFF, they'll take the rankings from ESPN, NFL.com, CBS, all these various networks, pull them into a chart so you can see how that player is ranked across those various platforms. Like on this platform, they say this is like a top 30 prospect. On this one, they're like top 60, top 90. I really like that as a metric. I mean, all these mock drafts, like nobody, I mean, seriously, nobody knows. If there was someone that knew that was running mocks like this, they would be on an NFL team getting paid. And even the guys that run NFL teams don't know what the heck they're doing half the time because we've seen so many guys bust. So your guess and my guess is just as good as anyone else's. And I truly believe that. But we're using NFL Draft Buzz, mock draft simulator. We will go ahead. We're going to do 7 rounds. I'm going to do warp speed, so we're not going to look at everything else that comes through. Maybe you care about it. They have a randomizer, so if you want this thing to be like Caleb Williams falls to pick 10 or Marvin Harrison Jr. falls out of the first round, like you could crank this thing up to like 4. I don't know if it would be that drastic, but you can randomize it. I'm gonna leave it on a 2. We will take trades. However, when we look at trade offers through this platform or through the draft process today, when I look at a trade, I'm only gonna look at if I can pick up picks for this year's draft. Because, yeah, I know in the big picture, sure, it's great to have future capital when we go into a real draft. But for you and us and engagement, doesn't make a lot of sense for me to pick up things that you're not going to really see because who cares? We will use the standard Jimmy Johnson model. Again, if you can go look that up to learn more about it, but let's go ahead and get started. What's up, y'all? We got a few folks tuned in. Reverend Saul, how's it going, man? Two fans in the stand. What's good? How are y'all doing, man? I've started to try to tune into y'all when possible. I know I missed y'all the other day. Reverend Saul, I wish they would fix the Panthers picks on this one. I always have to make a trade. It's good to know. It was funny too. I went through this just a minute ago, and the one of the trade offers I got was for safety Nick Scott, who the Panthers were rumored to be signing, which was funny. Ugh. Yes, don't give away those picks. All right, y'all. Also, yeah, let me take 2 seconds to say if you are looking for other Panthers content, I'd like to shout out to fans in the stands. We have kind of similar names, right? We've talked kind of joked about that, which is funny. But yeah, seriously, love go look them up on X. You can look them up on YouTube. Really good content. They got their own things with mocks, and if you just want, you're like, hey, I want another Panthers source or podcaster, content creator, good folks. So shout out to them. Let's go ahead and move back over, and we'll select the Panthers. We'll enter the draft and get started here. Maybe start draft. Here we go. And it is warp speed. Like it'll go. Hopefully, here I am starting it, and watch it. It's not going to work. Of course, this is exactly what happened when I was in the middle of a draft. So I may be pivoting, and we may be using the Pro Football Mock Draft Simulator because it doesn't look like they want to. We're going to try it one more time. Nope. We'll go in. All right, now I can at least see my picks, so maybe it's going to load. We're going to cross our fingers. Oh, God. I did the slow-mo draft. I can't do that. Sorry. So I'm going to reset it one more time because I'm not going to sit here on slow speed. We'll do warp speed again. Maybe warp speed is what's warp speed may be what's setting it off. It just can't think that fast. So I guess we'll do 25 seconds. I hope it doesn't limit me to that. I think I'll have unlimited time, but let's go back. That may be what it is. So, all right, well, 25 seconds per draft pick isn't terrible, and I mean it's going a lot faster. They offer warp speed, but yes, they cannot keep up with it. So, is what it is. All right, we'll give that a second to go through. Thanks, man. Y'all too. Hop back over here. Yeah, this is the other thing, man. The other thing is I'm not gonna accept like a totally ridiculous trade that just doesn't make sense. I mean, that's the other I mean, I will say PFF, at least I think when I was using it last year, was more realistic. This is ridiculous. They are not gonna offer us a second round pick swap, second round next year, third, sixth, seventh, and a center. I mean, that would be too good, right? It's like I can't do that. Same here. Like I just laugh at these. Fourth rounder, sixth rounder, a first round pick next year, fifth round. Like if we get some of these, we've got Scott Fitter floating around somewhere behind the scenes, and a fourth to sixth. We're all right. Rejecting these. Here we go, folks. We are now on the clock. Pick 33. I've talked about position of need, center, wide receiver, and tight end, but I push that further down the list. Edge, inside linebacker, cornerback. So these are our available picks. A few of these names, quite a few folks have talked about, I've talked about as well. Troy Franklin, Lad McConkey, Jatavian Sanders. Let me see who's available. I know we got one edge on there. Tajarius Robinson out of Missouri, Chris Braswell out of Alabama, Chris Jenkins. Yes, the Chris Jenkins, son of former Chris Jenkins Sr. Pretty cool fact if we were able to let him. I know Reverend Saul, I think someone asked about him. I can't, my things run together. Linebacker, yeah, Peyton Wilson on down, Jeremiah Trotter. I've always been in the camp of wide receiver with this pick. Yeah, they are. These traits are. That's why I just like I gotta reject it. Sure it'd be fantastic if we could take it. I'm a big Xavier Legette guy. Like, is he even available? Oh, he got drafted, so Baltimore picked him up. So it does leave us with Ladd or Troy Franklin. And I know a lot of people like Ladd. I'm a little bit higher on Troy myself. I mean, it's just my personal. I do like Jatavian Sanders as the tight end, but I don't know that I want to take him now. I'm looking down a little bit further. Keon Coleman, Andre Sweat, Roman Wilson, Cooper Beebe. Like, I don't think guards near, we secured that. Jonathan Brooks, rumored to be talking to the Panthers. But you know what? I'm going to go with actually Glad. All right, there we go. I did say, like, I'm going to let y'all folks decide if you're here and you're interacting. So we've got one vote or a vote for Lad McConkey. So we're going to draft him. Take it. We'll wait a few seconds, go with pick number 39, and we get some more ridiculous trade offers. Next offer, because I'm not going to take that. Same thing. Oh my God, this trade. Oh, so Ettore Gross-Matos wants to come home. So San Francisco signs him. This is why this is hilarious. So we're going to get a 6th-round pick. San Francisco must just feel bad. They knew they ripped us with the McCaffrey trade, so they're giving us a 1st-round pick next year. And even Ettore Gross-Matos was like, I can't stand it. I got to come back home to Carolina. This is too funny. I can't. Oh, next offer. Oh, running back, DeAndre Swift. Not bad. And a 1st-round Bears. What is this? Chicago feeling bad for us too. They're like, we know we took your picks, but next year, you know what? We got your 2nd-rounder. We're going to give you our 1st-round pick so that we can get your 2nd-round pick this year. I guess they just didn't have enough. And DeAndre Swift. Oh my gosh. This is too much. Way too much for me, man. And then we got Green Bay round 2, pick 9, which is pick 41. So we would move back 2 spots and then get a 6th-round pick in the 3rd. A little more realistic, but not really. I'm gonna just reject it. These are too funny. All right, still available. Ladd is on the board. No, not Ladd. Troy Franklin, Enos Rakestraw Jr. I'm not as familiar with him. Cornerback. Jatavian Saunders, again, tight end, playmaking tight end. I've talked about wanting a tight end. I'm just looking at who else is here. Again, Brooks. Not many. I mean, because we're only a few picks out from where we were. I think for me personally, this is what I did say. Oh, let's go out to his profile. 45 receptions, 682 yards, 2 touchdowns. So that wasn't like a breakout year. 4.69 40. 6'4", 245 pounds. I was going to try to get to his aggregated profile view. Here we go. So we're pick 39. NFL.com has him as a 1st-rounder. Draft Buzz right on the edge. Fox, PFF, more of like a later 2nd-round pick. But we don't have that, and there's no guarantee that he would be available in the 3rd round. And I've talked about him a little bit. Oh, you're good, man. Yeah, Frazier. Good point, man. I totally have like skipped over interior or centers. Let's see who's available. Zach Frazier. All right, man, Reverend, you got me. We're gonna go with Frazier. We do need a center, and I don't know why I was like skipping over him. He's my pick right there. If Johnson's not available, I'm rolling with Zach Frazier. I do think Saunders would have been a good pick as a tight end, but let's see. All right, we're back on the clock. Let's go back to the view. We are at pick 65, kicking off the third round. So we've addressed wide receiver, center. Could make a case for a tight end, but I think we'll push out. I think we're like running out of time to get an edge. Also, inside linebacker, potentially cornerback. Let me just see. I feel like Peyton Wilson, he's probably already drafted. See how we have Cedric Gray, Jeremiah Trotter. Those guys are later round picks. Doesn't make sense to pick them this early. Let's look at the edge room, edge position. So this one makes sense. It's kind of a reach. So Marshawn Nealand is someone that the Panthers are rumored to be talking to or have a top 30 visit. So it makes sense if we were to go with Marshawn. Braylon Trice, edge out of Washington. Austin Booker out of Kansas. Brandon Dorless out of Oregon. I've talked about Jonah Ellis a few times out of Utah. So only because I try to keep it a little bit I try to keep things realistic because I've talked about top 30 visits, and those things matter. If you go back, and again, I've only been doing this for a year, but you look at the Panthers ended up drafting like 3 guys out of their top 30 and then brought on 2 undrafted guys or guys in as undrafted free agents. So I do want to kind of keep it realistic, and we need an edge. So we're going to take Marshawn Nealand with this pick here. Let this run through. So we've got wide receiver, center, edge off the board. Still looking at inside the linebacker, cornerback, tight end, maybe a running back. But I think if I'm going to pick a running back, it's going to be much later. All right. So now at pick 101, Bucky Irving, running back out of Oregon. I'm just curious, like what 1,100 rushing yards, 5'9, 192, 11 rushing touchdowns. Had quite a few receptions as well. Malik Washington, I really like him as a smaller, again, spot receiver too. Kyrie Jackson, cornerback. Again, I talked about needing a cornerback. He had 3 interceptions, 7 pass deflections, 34 tackles, 25 solo tackles. 6'4". That is a big cornerback. 194. Man. 4'5", 40. Let's see where folks have him ranked. Yeah, height. He's in the 99th percentile. My gosh, that is a huge cornerback. So again, remember we're at pick 101. His average ranking is 89th. So that makes sense. Positional rank is 28th. These are just averages. PFF has him on the lower end as this, second round pick. Or I guess that's technically third round. 86, 90. I like this pick here. Again, I'm looking best available, but I'm also looking best available that we could get. Hey, appreciate that, man. Rock Jones. Let's see. Reverend said, I've seen a couple of mocks that made me hold off on center until 65. Van Prawn, obviously. Like it. Say we get Mitchell at 33 and we get to 39 and a guy like Worthy or McConkey are sitting there. Yeah, I agree. That would be like a win-win. How would you pass that over? Yep. Visor guys have to stick together. We joke. My wife hates the visor. I've got it right here. Just for you, man. Just not that she's ever going to watch this, but I'll put it back on, right? We joke. He's a visor guy. I've got it hidden away. I keep basically like a closet. It's not really a closet. I've got like a hanger for random Panthers gear so that I can just hop on when I come up. Just funny. All right, let's go with Kyrie Jackson, draft cornerback. All right, locking it up. Wide receiver, center, edge, cornerback. We got 3 picks remaining. We'll start to look at a tight end, inside linebacker, maybe a running back, maybe just best available player. When we start to get later, and I'll just be honest, like when I got into these later picks, I start to lose sight on some of these. Like I'm not as versed in, fifth, sixth, seventh round guys. I talked about Johnny Wilson before. I did a little video on him. Kalen King's actually a really good cornerback. Like, if we wanted to double up at cornerback, Jalen Simpson, I don't know as much about him. Curious to see. 4 interceptions, 3 pass deflections, 38 tackles, 6 foot, 179. No, okay, he's a little bit higher. But see, Kalen King on some boards, I was just going to pull him up because I've looked at him. Kalen King on some boards, it's actually pretty high. And hopefully we can get to it. So yeah, you can see there's a wide range, like PFN 20th, 23rd. Like, they had this guy as a first round talent. Athletic, even second rounds. On some of the other ends, closer to where I'm picking right now. Like, if we were going best available, I'd probably look in his direction. I don't want to draft a safety now. I guess I could also look at Josh Newton. 5'11", 190. Let's see where he ranks out here. He's another one, like second round in some boards, then much higher in others. Jackson's a great pick at cornerback. I like that. Yeah, this is tough because, like, now I'm just kind of going through. Now, I guess the linebacker. Let's look. There's not really many linebackers available here. Guess I can sort. Any names jumping off the board for folks? Again, I'm getting into more of a Tommy Eichenberg. Let's check out his profile. 1 sack, 1 fumble, 6'2", 233, 80 tackles, 4.69 40. And scroll. Oh my gosh, somebody has an average overall is 92nd, positional rank 12th. Somebody just NFL.com does not like him. Bleacher Report 71, PFN 91, CBS 92, PFF 100. Like, that's pretty reasonable. So we're at pick 142. This guy's getting a range between third, fourth, fifth round, depending on where you look. Let me make sure. Oh, we got a Jalen Ford. Like that. Reverend Saul says tight end or wide receiver in those spots. Yeah, it's not looking great. We got a vote from Zach for Jalen Ford, and I said, you know what, we're gonna let fans decide if they participate. So you got the pick, Zach. We're rolling with Jalen Ford. Let me take a look while that loads. Jalen Ford, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 101 tackles. My gosh, so take that. 6'2", 240. And out of Texas, 4.76 40. How does he stack up? Look at his rankings. Yeah, so on one end of the scale, pretty decent. We got him in the mid. What are we in, the 4th, 5th round? Got him in the 5th round. So I think that aligns. So take that pick there. Moving on, we got 2 picks left: 5th round and a 7th round pick. Yep, I agree, man. I agree. Let's see what we got. All right. Checking off my list: wide receiver, center, edge, cornerback, linebacker. So they can tight end. It's kind of the one thing that we haven't picked up. I have heard Jacob Cowling. I think I picked in another mock. I feel like picking a tight end this late in the draft, like, I don't know that we're going to get an upgrade or a player that's really going to contribute that much. AJ Barner out of Michigan. I have seen Eric All, tight ends. You know what? Iowa tight ends usually work out pretty well. But Dallin Holker out of Colorado State, 64 receptions, 767 yards. That's pretty good stat line. 6 touchdowns, 6'3", 241. Let's see where folks have him ranked. Really good on the cone drill. Wow. Top 94% broad jump, athletic, hand size, shuttle. This guy can move. Oh, so we get like one person who's like, yeah, he's in my top 100. Everyone else is like much further out. I don't know. If you, I'm gonna take a tight end. Is there a preference on this tight end group? I've looked at Eric All before. What about AJ Barner, Michigan? Uh, 22 receptions. That's not going to do it for me. Tip Ryman? Raymond? No, they're. I think Eric All was decent when I look back. Not great. Yeah, I'm going to take the athletic pass catcher as this selection. So we'll go Dallin Holker. Again, these later round picks, like I don't know how much time we're gonna get. And then we have round seven, 240. Uh, this will just be best player available. And to be honest, I don't know that I'll know any player available. We're getting into Mr. Irrelevant range, but you never know what you can get out of some of these guys. You do need to start hitting, or at least the Panthers need to start hitting on these later fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh round picks. Quite a bit of gap from fifth round to seventh round, just waiting. Almost 100 picks as it is today, round five, 166, not until round seven, 240. All right. Oh, there we go. Frank Gore Jr., right? Got to go with Frank Gore's son, Frank Gore Jr., son of Frank Gore. I mean, he is smaller back, 1,100 rushing yards, 10 rushing touchdowns, 27 receptions. Played at Southern Miss. Kind of getting drafted on his name alone. What about Ryan Hornoy? 57 receptions, 839 yards, Southeast Missouri State, 4.440, 6'1", 202. I don't know. Let me just, before I pull the trigger on Gore, 91 percentile on vertical, 85th on bench, 73 on the 40. Heights, middle of the pack. Weight, middle of the pack. Hand size, 81. Broad jump, 97. 10-yard shuttle, 74. So pretty decent, but not many people, picking him up. So is he our Puka? Is he the guy that emerges? I don't know. Just gotta hype it up. Appreciate that. Oh, sorry, catching up on the comments here. Bub means Jalen Coker, Taj Washington. Taj Washington. Possible Jim like that. Y'all said y'all want me to look for Taj Washington. All right, let's hop over. Wide receiver. Can I search? I don't know if there's actually a search feature, so I'll just scroll. I'm not seeing. I guess this isn't great because it doesn't give me a search feature. All right, so do we go? I think we're just gonna roll. You know what? We're gonna give Bryce another target. Why not? And say go out there and give us a shot. Cool. So I definitely thought I would try to do two mocks, but that took a good 30-ish minutes, and I'm gonna probably go watch the basketball. So I don't know if I'll make it through. But hey, recapping the semi-fan decided draft. We have Lad McConkey, Zach Frazier, Marshawn Nealand, Kyrie Jackson, Jalen Ford, Dallin Holker, Ryan Flournoy. Rounding out your draft picks, I like to go back and just see where did folks land on the big boards. Okay, this is where it gets funny. Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Bears. Do they realize Justin Fields has been traded? Yeah, the draft order hasn't updated since like, oh, like if y'all take a wide receiver over getting yourselves a quarterback. Oh, they took Michael Penix. Wow. Caleb Williams to Washington, Jaden Daniels, New England, Joe Alt, Arizona, Brock Bowers, Georgia, Drake May to New York, Malik Neighbors, the two to Atlanta. Cool. All right, y'all. I thought I would do another, but don't think that's gonna happen. I will. Yeah, I agree. I would be really pleased with that. So I actually have another mock, not a fan mock, but own personal mock that I will be dropping. I have another video coming out as well, and then probably tomorrow I'll record my normal weekly episode, although there's not that much to talk about. But I think that's going to do it for today, man. Thank you all for tuning into the show. If you are here and you are watching on YouTube, or if you want, you can go out to YouTube, subscribe. I do appreciate that for those that are staying there and staying connected. And y'all have a good rest of your day. See y'all.